What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Good morning, and welcome back to the Phaithful Phanatics show. As always, we are live here on DSM-Media's Philadelphia YouTube and Twitter channels. Guys, do yourself a favor, do us a favor as we start out every show. Make sure to follow on all social media platforms and check out the YouTube link specifically. It is the best and only spot to get your thoughts, comments, and questions pulled up here on the screen with us. So make sure to smash that subscribe button over on the YouTube channel. Like this video, share it with your friends, family, and whoever else you know is into all things Philly sports. I'm one half of your host, Dylan Davis. To my right, my faithful co-host, Scotty. The Eagles get back in the win column following their early bye week. They're 3-2 on the young season.
Yes,
Nick Sirianni is now 4-0 in his career as the Eagles head coach, coming off of a bye. And it seems like Nick Sirianni is going to be a large portion of today's discussion, as it seems like he's been a large part of everybody's discussion following yesterday's win, even on a national media level now. So me and Scotty were talking before, and we'll try to dissect it as best we can with you guys. But is it possible to separate the team from their head coach? Because right now they're almost two different things. And we're going to talk about all of it. The Flyers start the year 1-1, man. Matvei Michkov gets on the board Saturday night with his first career point. The Sixers continue their preseason as we are just, 9 days away from opening night against the Bucks. We got some injury update or some knee management update on Joel Embiid we can discuss. We got a lot to get into, man, on this late Monday. I know Scotty's off work today, so we can go for, I think, however long we want, man. But what's happening? Happy Monday, brother.
Yeah, we can discuss it all nonetheless. I'm feeling good, man. Obviously, a victory Monday, nonetheless. I know there's a lot to talk about today. I've already listened to the radio a little bit this morning. So I know what's going on around the city and who's at the top of everybody's list of topics today. And it's understandable. I am going to try to enjoy the victory a little bit on here. But there's definitely some stuff to discuss and break down, because this team is just a whirlwind of stress each and every Sunday that they play. And yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to know what Martian's talking about, what video he's talking about nonetheless. But
I'm in the dark over here, so I'm more than interested to know what he's got up his sleeve.
Video. Man, I'm curious, man. I'm
Of
curious.
Scotty. There's a video of Scotty. We'll see what he's talking about. But guys, we see over 20 of you in right now. Make sure to smash that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. But yeah, man, you and I were discussing before the show, trying to dissect what happened yesterday. And can you split up? Can you separate Nick Sirianni from what happens on the field from this Eagles team? Because it does, in a sense, feel like we're almost having two different conversations today. Let's start with Nick Sirianni. We can start the team as a whole, but with Nick Sirianni, man, the team feels damaged to me, Scotty. And I said this to you earlier. Like, I know they got the win yesterday. They are a Saquon Barkley just heads up, picking up a first down. They are a Saquon Barkley blitz pickup away from leading 13-3 at halftime, and maybe it never even feels that close in the second half. So I understand, while it was a close game, they didn't really feel too much in danger yesterday. But after it's all said and done, Nick Sirianni chirped Eagles fans. And I wasn't sure who he was going at. I wasn't sure if there was a section of Browns fans behind the bench or what was going on. But it turns out it's all Eagles fans. This man is broken, Scotty. He's damaged. And I said this to you earlier, man. Like, we're past the point of his duty and his jobs and responsibilities on the football field. We're past the going for it on fourth downs and taking points off the board. We're past throwing the ball on third down or fourth down and not chewing up clock. We're past time management. We're past play calling. We're past all of that. It's now a toxic relationship between head coach, organization, and this fan base. And that's not a place that a 3-2 football team should be. Look, it is not the player's responsibility to have to babysit their head coach. It is not the player's responsibility for over the bye week to tell their head coach, hey, man, be yourself. We need you. We need 2022 Nick back out there. We need that personality back out there. That's not the player's job. That is completely ass backwards. It is the head coach's job to get the most out of his guys, to bring the personality out of his guys, not the other way around. And the thing that I've been waiting for so many weeks and so many months now was to see this locker room back their head coach. And we never got it. They got their asses kicked in Tampa Bay in the playoffs when they got knocked out. They did not show up for their head coach. They got their asses kicked before the bye week in Tampa Bay. They did not play for their head coach. Each and every week, they look slow and unprepared to start games. That is a attribute of their preparation and their head coach. And now, after that display on the sideline, after that game, beating maybe the worst team in the league by 4 points on your home field, now players are stepping up to his aid. Now Jalen's backing him. Now it's all, you guys don't know how much shit he gets, how tough it is for him. This is the Nick we need. This is the Nick we want. That's the head coach you want. That's why I'm worried this team is damaged goods, man, because of their childlike head coach.
No, I get it. I get it. And I definitely understand the frustration with Nick Sirianni himself. I think for me, man, with the Nick Sirianni thing, it was just kind of another tally against him yesterday. Like, for me, that was not like out of the norm. He's done this before. He hasn't done it to Eagles fans specifically, but he's done this before. He's acted like this at games before. He is kind of being himself. The cowardly thing that I thought most out of the whole situation was bringing his kids to the press conference.
Oh, we'll get into
that. That was probably the most cowardly part of the whole situation for me.
Yep.
The big thing with him, talking to the fans at the end of the day, if you feel that that's your best route of exercising and coaching this football team and leading them to where they want to get to, go ahead, do it. But you better win football games at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Next week when you play the Giants and you have Saquon Barkley going against his old team, you better go out there, win that football game, and you better do it with class. You better go out and you better play every week from here on out, and it better look the way it's supposed to, because if not, the roof is going to be coming off every time you're in the link. So all it does is puts the target further on Sirianni's back.
Right.
It takes us to this. It brings us to this day where we're coming to a Monday. We just won a football game, and now we have to talk about Nick Sirianni and his actions, and we don't even get to really think about what happened in the actual football game, because Nick Sirianni had to make himself the face of the franchise yesterday after the game. So it's annoying from that sense for me, because they did actually play a football game yesterday. They did actually do some positive things in the football game yesterday, and it's almost like it gets completely erased when he does that at the end of the game.
That's exactly what happened, Scotty. And it's not the first time. You're right. It's the first time that he's jawed at his own fan base, which is something that I would not suggest to any head coach in any sport, in any level, let alone the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles at the link. I wouldn't suggest doing that. But that's what it does. It cast a dark cloud over what was a sliver of hope and light yesterday after a win. Was the win pretty? No, we'll talk about the ins and outs of it. And yes, that's going to come along with Nick Sirianni, conversation as well, because he doesn't have his team prepared week to week. They start slow every week. They haven't scored a single fucking point in the first quarter of their first 5 games. We're going into week 7. They're the only team in the National Football League not to score in the first quarter of any of their games. Does that have any correlation to do with what they do throughout the week and their script of their first 15 to 30 plays? Does it have anything to do with that? That is on you as well, Nick. But it 1000% casts a shadow over the win, man. And that's what he does. And that's the problem. He's become such a clown. And to your point, you better go out and you better win football games. And I know at the end of the day, in the win-loss column, it's not going to have an asterisk next to it saying how if it was a pretty win, an ugly win, whatever.
Yeah.
I promise you, beating the Cleveland Browns by 4, and then maybe beating the Giants by 3, and then maybe beating Jacksonville by 4 ain't going to cut it. Like, if you continue playing that style of football, that's not going to matter because you're going to slide by the Giants. You might slide by Doug Peterson and the Jags, but guess who you're not going to get by playing that style of football, Scotty? The Baltimore Ravens.
That's Dallas who you're not going to get by.
But you never know, right? Like,
I know. Hey, I'm not even joking. Yeah. Dylan, I'm not even joking. The Lions would do that to us now, too.
Oh, yeah.
They would do that to us right now, too. They would run the ball down our throats. They would shut our offense down. Like, the Lions would embarrass the Eagles right now. The Lions are playing great football. The Cowboys suck, obviously. That was a joke. But, yeah, no, you're exactly right. That's the one positive the Eagles have going for them is their schedule. You look at the rest of their schedule, the one guaranteed loss that you could pick out is the Baltimore Ravens. Yep. Every single other game is winnable. And that's crazy to say with the way they've played so far this season.
And the crazy thing is, man, you brought it up to me earlier. They are a Saquon Barkley drop or a Nick Sirianni decision or two from being 4-1. But again, we saw that last year. It's not like, what if they 4-1? Well, they were 10-1. And
they could also be 1-4. Yeah. They could also be 1-4 or 0-5, right? Like what game? What was the game where they really held and controlled the entire game?
Brother, he has zero answers at the podium as well. Like to downplay this is otherworldly crazy. Show. How about go back to the Bucs game before the bye? What were we talking about? Another Nick Sirianni failed attempt at the podium. When he talked about Saquon Barkley only having one catch. Well, we only ran 9 plays in the first quarter, and he got the ball on 2 of them, and the others were third downs. Like, yes, because of your actions, because of your lack thereof rhythm, because of your play calls. Dude, that's the issue when I say they're damaged. It goes so much deeper than the win-loss column. I've seen a couple different tweets about A.J. Brown's route tree, and A.J. Brown is a fucking monster. We've known this. It was obvious the Eagles missed him, and it's only going to continue to get better throughout the year, right? Did you see his route tree from yesterday, bro?
Yeah.
That is, Scotty, again, man, that is not a Kellen Moore fucking offense. Kellen Moore may be calling the plays, but that is Nick Sirianni's offense. Timeout. I forgot about this one. Did he tell us that he called a play on defense yesterday?
He definitely did. Yeah, he definitely did. Definitely did. He didn't say which play. He didn't say which play it was. He wasn't going to give us that. But, just so you know.
I'm going to have a stroke.
I'm telling you, he is. He's playing a game that he will not win, is what Nick Sirianni's doing. Because it doesn't even matter. Even if he wins like the next 5 weeks, it's because the Eagles are playing better. It's not because of Nick Sirianni. He's not going to get credit. It doesn't matter. Yeah, we're just really talented on offense. It doesn't matter what this team does. Nick Sirianni will not get credit from the fans now. He's burnt that bridge, man. It was already like burning. It was on the last, end. It was about to fall completely apart. He just ripped that thing apart. Anybody that was out there like protecting Nick or defending him and saying, look at his record over his career and look at his, his trip to the Super Bowl. There's no leg to stand on at this point.
Listen, man. And that's the other thing. There's so much going on with him. But you brought it up. The kids at the podium. If there are people left standing defending Nick Sirianni, that's the thing I've seen most defended over the last 15 hours. And well, he's done it before. Tell me you don't watch the Eagles by telling me it is 1,000% a coward way out. Context matters. Yeah, exactly. 1,000 fucking %.
Yeah.
You knew what you just did on the sideline. You knew how that game looked to the fans, to everybody against that particular opponent. You knew you were about to be hard pressed for what you did. And you brought not one child up, you brought the whole fucking family up to the podium, Nick. And then like Martian or TR said before, literally tried to like gaslight the fucking fan base and the media into thinking we're crazy or something.
Yeah.
That is 1,000% a coward's way out of his own actions.
Said we shouldn't boo. Like, come on. This is like first base of like coming to Philadelphia. It's not like your first season with the squad, Nick. Like, we're gonna boo when you guys fucking stink. Like, it's gonna happen. So like, it is funny, this whole like persona he like turned it on this week. It's like he's just put in like his WWE character role. Because
I tried,
man.
Scotty, I tried to come into this year with a clean slate. I tried to separate last year's collapse heading into this year. The issue, Nick, is you are the common denominator right now. You are the one bringing the past trauma of last year into this year. Your antics, your scheme, your offense, your play calling, the slow starts, the sloppiness, the lack of preparation week in and week out, the slow starts, all of those red flags from last year that we ignored and then saw fucking flashed across every TV screen every Sunday afternoon, they're happening again. Yeah, they won the game. Jalen Hurts played very well.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. Didn't turn the ball over. Wow. Made some big throws down the field to A.J. Brown. They actually schemed Devontae Smith open on a mesh route to score that touchdown. Wow. They did some good things. The defense, albeit against Deshaun Watson, the defense played really well.
Yeah.
But none of it seems to matter because the 11-year-old you have coaching this team fucking outdid himself at the end of it all.
It matters to me, Dylan. It matters to me. But no, I do feel you, man. I think he's a guy that is he's just in over his head right now. And like Martian says right there in the comments, man, I think he is. He's just pulling out all the stops. He's going out of character mode. Like he's shaved his head. Like he's got the straight buzz cut right now, bro. He's going through it.
He does look crazy. Look, that's I'm really like not even trying to poke fun. I could give two fucks about the haircut. But like it's like we're watching a movie. Literally. Like it's like we're watching a fucking
He's going into a role, man. It's weird. We got our asses beat in Tampa Bay. We head into a bye week. Everyone's focused on the Phillies. No one's really paying attention or talking about the Eagles too much. And then bang, Nick Sirianni comes out of the tunnel with a shaved fucking head. He tried to go to the Phillies playoff game with the Phillies hat. He tried to pander a little bit. Didn't get the reception he wanted from that. That was one move. In over your head. Let me try this.
You got it.
It's like, no, let me try to buzz cut. Maybe I can look tough.
You got told to take the points at the Phillies game too. He did, man. And look, I know we're busting balls right now, but it's his fault. It's his fault, dude. No one that the buzz cut would not be a factor if you didn't act like a fucking child.
And look, the thing that bothered me so much about this, bro, because you go back to that New Orleans game and you go back to Jalen Carter talking shit to the New Orleans players, to the New Orleans fans, and who's the guy in his face telling him, come on, don't do that. But then at the end of this game, you're doing that, and it's just completely contradictory. So it's like, these are the type of messages that are getting passed around the team. And then the type of examples that are being led by. You know what I mean? Words are just words. If you don't lead with your actions, it doesn't matter. And that's what I'm kind of seeing there as well. That doesn't make sense that Jalen Carter can't go out, express himself, be himself against opposing, opposition, fans, players, but you can go at your own home crowd. Like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't add up. And that's not consistent. So
I've never seen a head coach bark at his own fan base before. Like never. And especially not after that kind of performance. It would have been one thing if he heard all of the noise over the last 2 weeks, and clearly further than that with how the season has started and going back to last year. But all this noise over the last couple of months, and he's hearing this build up and build up and build up, and then out of the bye week, they beat the brakes off the Browns 42-10, and he turns around and says something smart, whatever.
Yeah.
You had to run. First of all, let's not forget this. We are a Cleveland Browns false start away from them having 2 shots from the 3-yard line. From a tie game? Do we realize that? It was 20-13 before they kicked that last field goal. That's how close things were to them tying this ball game. That was with like 3.5 minutes left. That's the performance your team came out of a bye week prepared to play with. And then you had something smart to say to your own fans.
Yeah.
That is world class. I
got AJ back, man. Anything's possible. Throw it up to AJ. Anything is possible, man. That's our head coach. That's what it feels like. Our head coach, man. Like he's just sitting back there.
Exactly. TR is right. TR is right. And I see what Martian's saying, man. He's a human being. I fucking get it. But you're the cause of all of it. Back it up. You are the cause of all of it. All of your antics over. You know what it takes me back to? The Super Bowl when we're winning and there's a challenge or whatever, and Nick starts like saying something to the Chiefs sideline, and Jalen like smacks his arm away, and like Nick laughs, and Jalen like gives a look like that child is like that. That's your basically rookie quarterback and your head coach. That happened then. But guess what? You were in a Super Bowl. You were winning. But now you're not at the top of the hill anymore. And when again you continue to meddle and like it's all of your actions. It's your decision not to take the points. It's your decision to throw the ball on 3rd down and not run the ball. Apparently, you're calling a defensive play out of the blue. Apparently,
it's his offense.
Yeah, like it's all on you. I mean, and this isn't a 2-week thing. This isn't a 3-week thing. We are going back about 12 fucking months at this point. That's the problem. So I don't feel bad at all. Dude, because if you're a human being, learn from your motherfucking mistakes then. You hear all this noise, you want to prove a point, you really want to bark at the fans, go, okay, you guys think it's all on me? Maybe things go deeper. Maybe it's not all on him. You think it's all on me? Go ahead. Kellen, go ahead. And if things look bad, if they're unprepared, but when you continue to meddle, when you continue to be the common denominator of all the ugliness and all the mistakes, you are going to get lashed out at. And if you can't fucking handle it, especially here, move the fuck aside.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I think you look at like the Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell, and you see the culture that he's instilled there, and they're a physical football team. They all bark on the sidelines. They're a tough team, man. And they have a specific culture, and it just doesn't look like the Eagles have that culture that we thought they might have had going into that Super Bowl visit and coming out of it.
No. It's not even that. The Eagles have a bad culture. That is what that's what I learned yesterday. Again, I have been waiting for this team to show up and back up their head coach. I've been waiting for somebody to step up publicly and have this guy's back, because we don't know if the team has quit on him, what him and Jalen's relationship is like. Jalen making some like jab type of comments about, we have our moments type of thing. And now, after that moment, after that game, now is when some of the leaders in this locker room speak out publicly in his defense. That tells me they take on the personality of their head coach, and it's not the personality I want this team to have. They are unprepared week in and week out, man. It's unbelievable. Like it's clearly Nick. It's clearly Nick's script to start the game. And they are the only team without a point in the first quarter this year. And then he's going to go and tell you and give you some fucking excuses for it all. Scotty, when is the last time you can remember us being up like 10-0 in the first quarter or 14-3 early? When is the last time they've gotten out to a fast start and built a comfortable lead?
It's been a while, man.
There hasn't been a single game this year they've done it. They didn't do it against Tampa in the playoffs. And they didn't do it against Seattle. And they didn't do it against the Giants, the game they lost on Christmas. I can't recall the last time they actually went out and went up 10-0 or 14-0 in a game.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look here. I mean,
I'm saying early. I get you, Martian. Later, yeah. I'm saying early. When is the last time they went down, drove the ball right down the field, scored 7-0, got a defensive stop? When is the last time they started a game 13-0, 10-0? When is the last time? It doesn't happen. They haven't scored in the first fucking quarter, and that is a direct result of your head coach.
No, I agree, man. I don't know. I don't know. They got to fix the first quarter stuff, obviously. Sirianni's going to take all the headlines this week.
Wait. Is this real?
I'm not sure. Don't have all the.
Yeah, I can't. TR stats normally seem to come on point. So if this is correct, more than a full calendar year since we've beaten a team by more than 8 points. I mean, it makes sense when you think about the fact that we haven't done it this year. And we know they didn't do it in the last 10 weeks of last year. And we know they didn't beat the Bills by that much. We know we didn't beat the Chiefs by that much. We know we didn't beat the Cowboys by that much.
Beat the Dolphins 31-17 last year.
Yeah. Well, no. Martian's right. It was the Niners in the NFC Championship game we kicked the shit out of. So it's just one game further than the Giants. But we beat the Dolphins by how much on Sunday night?
Beat the Dolphins 31-17 last year. Rams.
So WIP does lie, but that's okay, TR. To your point, TR.
Beat Tampa Bay last year 25-11. So yeah, there's a couple.
So let's just say going back to the 2022 playoffs, we've probably beaten a team by more than one score 4 or 5 times. Yeah. Going back to the playoffs. If you pass the playoffs, if you just go to the start of 23, probably 3 times. Which again is not it's not a positive. So
yeah.
I don't know, man. All right, let's get off the Nick Sirianni train for a second. Let's talk a little bit about this game. Because in an ugly way, there was actually some nice things to come out of it. Start with Jalen Hurts, I guess.
Yeah, no. I think there were a couple positives that you come out of this game with. Obviously, there's going to be the negatives that we have to talk about, but I think Jalen Hurts, his decision making, even on the decisions to run the football yesterday, I thought were quicker. He was more decisive in that sense, getting up the field a lot quicker. I thought he was good overall, honestly. You start to understand him a little bit more once AJ comes back. He goes out, comes back in, goes out, comes back in. You start to understand the way Hurts plays a little bit more, because when you have AJ out there, you're going to be intrigued to just throw the ball up there for him, because he will come down with it most of the time. So I think just seeing AJ back out there, seeing him healthy, seeing him break tackles, get yards after the catch, that was beautiful to see on offense as well. But Jalen Hurts as a whole, he just looked way more comfortable out there, as he should, with all of his weapons available, right? The decision making, no turnovers. I thought all of it was great overall. Just a few throws early on, I would say. The first drive or 2 in the first quarter.
Well, he started like 0 for 5.
The slow start.
Started very sloppy.
That is a
900 throws down the field. Every throw was a go route to AJ Brown or
and that's one of those things. Like, let's get some rhythm throws in first before we do the deep shots. Let's get AJ Brown a touch coming back from injury before we go 50 yards down the field to him. So like that's once again, that's game script, that's preparation coming into a game. As they get into the game, Jalen Hurts started to look a lot better. Some of the play calling was a little bit better. We start to see some of what looks like Kellen Moore's offense. I saw Jahan Dotson get involved on a few plays.
Big first down pickup for his one reception.
Grant Calcaterra as well, man, looked very good, actually. He looked very quick after the catch. Looked like he was moving a little bit quicker than even Goddard. Goddard goes down. That didn't even know that was a thing coming into this game, hamstring injury. So he is out again. That's Dallas Goedert for us, right?
Jordan Mailata, we did forget to mention that. I don't know the extent of it. I haven't heard more. I did see him, he's with crutches getting off the field. So that is a blow, but hopefully it's nothing too long term this year. Stepped up.
Sturdy, man. He's looked sturdy. I'm not like getting ahead of myself, At the end of the day, you're always going to miss Lane. You're going to miss Jordan Mailata if either of them are out. Fred Johnson, all right in there, man. And this is what I wanted to say about this Eagles game, man, because the Nick Sirianni stench it like hovers over some of the good things that did happen and some of the things that occurred in the game where you look back and it's like one thing. I got a couple pivotal moments here, right? So the CGJ Quinyon Mitchell interception opportunity. One, you both just have to be better. Whoever calls the ball, you have to respect it. I look at CGJ in that case. You're the veteran. You need to know better. You figure it out. Make that play happen. If it's letting Quinyon catch it, then let him catch it. You just need to communicate better there. I didn't like Quinyon's response to it either. I get it, though. It's his first interception. Yeah. He wants it really bad. At the end of the day, you get that interception. That erases 3 points off the board if you just end that drive right there for the Cleveland Browns. They end up going down and scoring a field goal, I believe, on that drive. Then you get to the Eagles' next drive, right? And it's Saquon Barkley on 2nd and 1. He catches a pass from Jalen Hurts and just goes out of bounds without getting the first down. I thought that was the weirdest thing I've honestly seen from him since he's gotten here. But then on top of that, you get the lack of effort on the pass block on 3rd and 1 after you don't get the first down. Jalen gets sacked. We have to settle for a field goal. And then, of course, you have the field goal block, right, which that creates this 10 to 14 point swing in this game that you just generally don't win games when stuff like that happens. What I wanted to point out, though, man, it was Myles Garrett, on the special teams has its issues, but this is also Myles Garrett, an incredible player making an incredible play. It is worst case scenario. It does feel like things just seem to pile up. Mistakes just seem to continue to happen and pile up in games for the Eagles. So I think that is the frustrating part. But when you look at this game, man, you have that 10-point swing. Let's just call it a 10-point swing there. I'm not trying to say the game would be 20-3. I'm not trying to go that route and have these hypotheticals, but you would have had a lot stronger grip on the game if you just missed that field goal rather than it get returned for a touchdown, right?
Correct.
So 7 points on the board was from this just wild play.
It was their only touchdown.
It was their only touchdown in the game. Then you come into it, you look at Jalen Hurts. He's thrown for the most passing yards against that Cleveland defense all season, even more than Jaden Daniels, who put up more points last week. Jalen threw for more yards against the 8th-ranked pass defense in the NFL. And we just also have to think about what we thought about the Browns coming into the season. It wasn't their defense that was the question mark. So the defense is still a solid unit. They're a unit that gets worn out by their bad offense. At the end of the day, you gave up 1 touchdown. You gave up, a total of 6 points to the offense itself. There were iffy moments, don't get me wrong. CGJ needs to be fucking better in general. Outside of that interception moment, he has some. I don't know what is going on. Tackle the football.
You talking about the one where he was frozen, standing still?
Yeah. What are we doing, man? Just not wanting to tackle. That needs to stop. That needs to stop. It was
such a weird first half, man. I do agree with you.
The
whole day was just fell off. Just felt off. It was never a game where I was on the edge of my seat and feeling the need to be like overly emotionally invested, because while it was 10-10, and normally in a way you're allowing a bad team to gain confidence and build momentum as the game goes on, and
That's
the
the other
longer
side
they
of it.
hang around, bad things can happen. And I know we don't have a lot of faith in that defense
Yep.
most weeks. I was never really worried that they were going to let Deshaun Watson move the ball down the field multiple times and score 2+ touchdowns in the second
Like,
half.
at worst,
I
it
just
was
never
always
had
gonna
that.
be in Jalen's hands to win the game at
Correct.
worst. Like,
Correct.
we would have an opportunity
Right.
to
Like
win.
I said, they make it 2016 with the field goal. But if, let's say they score that touchdown, they don't get the false start on their own on our 3-yard line with 2 shots at the end zone. They don't do that. It's 2020. Jalen, anything can happen at that point. I'm not trying to just brush it off and act like we're going and marching down for a win. But Jalen did go down and ice the game with a ridiculous throw to AJ Brown, and everything like that. But so I was never like worried, even though it was a tie ball game and things like that don't normally work out too well for you in this league. But it's still like the ugliness just took away from the positives, because to your point, Jalen played the best game probably since the Bills game.
Yeah,
I'd
maybe all
say.
season.
And obviously it starts with the turnovers and protecting the ball. I thought he made some good decisions on the ground. He didn't try to keep it too much. There's actually one time where Saquon was going to get blown up in the backfield, but Jalen kept it, hit a hole, and picked up 6, 7, 8 yards on a play. He made good decisions. The thing, again, I don't know how much of it comes down to Jalen versus play calling and scheme, right? Because
They say that play
you
at the
heard
end
what
was
Nick
Jalen.
said, Nick said that was a Jalen check at the line and a Jalen decision, which was obviously a great decision and great execution. And who knows what the actual play call was going to be. But like I texted you this during the game. There is no tempo to this offense. There's none of it. And I know we like the flashy stuff. I know we like the deep throws to AJ Brown. I get it. It's fun to watch, but we hunt for it over and over and over again.
It's like
Jalen Hurts is at his best. These receivers are at their best, and this offense is at their best when there's some tempo to them, when there's a rhythm to it, and he's getting the ball out of his hands quick. When he's utilizing AJ Brown on slants, when he's using Devontae Smith over the middle of the field for 8 to 10 yards, when he's using AJ Brown for comeback routes, and then he breaks it, and there's a little bit of tempo, and they start to get into that rhythm together where they're feeding off of each other. That's when this offense puts together stretches. But it feels like, dude, specifically in the first half of every game, including yesterday, every single play clock is down to 2 to 3 seconds before the ball is snapped.
Yeah.
It's slow, and it's not slow and methodical. It's not like there's a reason, there's a method to the madness, right? There's no, like, you watch the Lions offense, for example. They're setting up with that run, right? They're setting up the play action. They're setting up the bootleg. They're setting up so many different actions off of each play call. There's nothing to that for us, man. We're in the gun. It's a read option. Boom. Saquon picks up 4 yards. Let's take our time. We get back to the line, down to 2 seconds, snap it. It's a Jalen keeper. There's no rhythm. There's nothing built off of one another. And that's just why they start slow. Taking deep shot after deep shot to AJ Brown is not it, man. He's big. He's physical. He's fast. He has great hands. We saw him break how many tackles off of a comeback route yesterday? 3. We saw Smitty when you get him into space. Just do more of that. You do more of that, and you do that early, you will find early success. You will get out to early leads. Maybe your defense can relax a bit more. There's none of it early. They wait.
It's also just like the overall details of the offense. Once again, man, like just the attention to details. So many times you have like Devontae Smith on a comeback route, and it's, behind the sticks and not in front of the sticks to get the first down. And you have Saquon Barkley going out of bounds. You didn't even pick up a yard to get the first down. Like, let alone get in the first down, just pick up a yard on the play just to get a yard. Like, why not? It's a lack of awareness, a lack of attention to detail overall with this team, specifically on offense, where there's just, one mishap. Maybe it's a false start. Maybe it's a holding penalty. Maybe it's a Jalen.
Bro, what did he think?
Maybe it's a receiver doesn't run the right route. Maybe it's just all of the above. Everybody is kind of contributing to it at times right now, man. And
This is
I don't know.
1000% it. They
Aside,
try.
like, that's player stuff that you can figure out, though. Like there is player things that they can do better, and that's why it's such a confusing team, man. It's a confusing ass team.
I agree, because you look around at all the talent, and we're
fix.
expecting a surge at some point, and when that comes, how good can this offense be? I'm on board. It's just, look, in 2022, they set up the deep shot with the run. We've talked about it for 5 weeks now. They try to set up the run off the pass.
Yeah.
That's why you see 1st and 10 pass, 2nd and 10 run. That's Nick Sirianni's offense. And it's been that way 3 out of the 4 years. Jalen Hurts has been quarterback here. The 1 year, it was the opposite. We all know who was calling the shots then.
You know what just popped in my head, man? Because like I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm sitting here thinking about like what might go into their mindset coming into the game, and like why the script may have been what it was, and you start to think about it, and it's like, yeah, they want to come out, they got their 2 big weapons back, they want a deep shot touchdown, right, to get the crowd fired up, to announce the offense is back, and we score in the first quarter. It finally happened, right? And, that's like the other side of everything, right? If AJ gets one of those catches, if Smitty gets a pass interference call, that was clearly a pass interference.
Brother, I don't know how you pick up that. They threw the flag.
I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand like it was
a missed call or that.
You know what it was? It was almost to me because Nick Sirianni talked to Denzel Ward on the play. Like that's what it looked like to me, man. It was after Nick Sirianni said something to Denzel Ward. They have a laugh and they pick up the flag, but that was clearly pass interference. And it's like, if you get that pass interference call, you score. Maybe you score from there, right? And that what was that? That was a second drive, I think.
Yeah, it was early on.
It was the second drive, but maybe you score within the first quarter finally. So it's like that is the other side. Like if you just get the rightful call in that moment, then you're in the red zone finally, and you're maybe scoring, but. It's always this what if we do this, if this happened. We just got to eliminate that stuff. And the problem is the reason this team is, and this is where I'm at with this team, guys. Like, just to be clear, I'm trying to be positive about yesterday, but where I'm at with this team is week to week. I'm just going to have to analyze and see what I see.
Yeah, man. It is a trial. It is a.
I don't trust
trial
anything.
basis on this team.
Could we win against the Giants next week? Absolutely, we could go into the Meadowlands and beat the Giants. We could dominate them, but we could also lose. We could. That is possible. It is something that could happen next week.
Where I'm at too, man.
Where I'm at with this team, man. I don't know. We'll see. Right? Are they a contender? Man. Hell no. Right now, hell to the no, man. Hell no. You look around the league, you look at teams like Detroit, the way they're operating.
Took a humongous loss yesterday, though.
Yeah.
And
Aiden Hutchinson, that was disgusting. But that was a humongous loss. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, honestly. But they absolutely kicked the shit out of Dallas, dude.
And that's the other side of yesterday as well. We should be able to be ecstatic today because the Eagles were the only one in the NFC East that won yesterday. Yep. The NFC East went 1-3, and that was the Eagles. They were the one.
Man, look, would we have been ecstatic about the performance? Oh, a win is a win. Maybe not ecstatic. Maybe not
ecstatic.
Excited. No. But again, it's all because of what he did. That's it. That's it. There's a much different tone about this team if he does not have those sideline antics at the end of it all. Is it sunshine and rainbows? Hell no. But is it much more light and lighthearted? Yeah, it is. They're 3-2. Oh, well, they're 4-1, and maybe we start to think about that. But when he does those things that remind us of 2023, that Nick Sirianni, now we're taking 2 steps back after a positive step forward.
Because you're ending the game on an AJ Brown bomb, like that does make you ecstatic. It makes you excited. But then you see Sirianni on the sidelines, and you're like, this guy. You know what I mean? And
I saw him do it. And I literally said, "Who's he barking at?" And I tweeted out because I wasn't sure. And then I didn't know if I was making like too big of a deal out of it. And then all of a sudden, the Twitter timeline is running rampant. And I'm like, oh, he did actually do that.
Yeah, and it's like read the room.
But, and that's the thing, man. Like when you hear that, like. Yes, it's a positive from a Jalen Hurts perspective, But when you hear Nick say that was a Jalen check at the line, it just makes you wonder, like, well, what were you about to do, Nick?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
what was about to happen, man?
Were
Like,
you going to just turn and hand the ball to Saquon? Which, again, I know in most cases that is the play, but like,
to Martian's point, I think I texted you. I texted someone this whenever that play happened, and it was what, 2nd and 11, and the Browns have like one timeout. You're like out on the outskirts of like field goal position, right?
They're around midfield,
and they, that. I don't know. It was a questionable. You live with it because AJ catches that ball and you end the game there. But it is one of those.
It is true. It is great points, E-Rab, man.
Are those the checks of like Seattle and that turns into an interception sometimes? Yeah. Like, is that what it is?
True, think about that, bro. If he drops that ball, I'm assuming Nick falls on the sword for Jalen. If that's let's say it's an incompletion. Clock stops. 3rd and 11. Browns are going to get the ball back with 1.5 minutes left after one more stop and a timeout. Like, I'm assuming Nick's not going to come to the podium. I would hope not, and say, well, we had a run dialed up, but Jalen checked at the line and
exactly.
Right? So in that case, it's where execution and the players have to make plays, because in that moment we would have just automatically blamed Nick Sirianni when it wouldn't have been his fault. Yeah. But thank God for AJ Brown and a beautiful throw from Jalen Hurts, and that ices it. Although I did just need 3 more points to hit the over in the game, so I was pretty upset about that. But
if he's checking that at the end of the game, is he checking on the first drive? Is he checking into some of those plays on the first drive as well? You know what I mean?
Right. No, that's
throughout the game.
That's the confusing part. It
is interesting because we say, oh, that looks like Sirianni's offense, but is that just Jalen saying, AJ, go deep?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe it's AJ saying, get me the ball. Don't know. We've talked a lot about the offense because there were a lot of positives.
Yes.
And I agree. Great throw, even better catch. AJ Brown's a fucking tank. We have AJ Brown and Saquon Barkley. I know Saquon didn't have his best game. Probably his worst game in the Eagles uniform.
You just know he's going to bounce back.
We have those two. Cool. That's the thing, man. We've only had 2 healthy weeks of those two on the field together. And they're 2-0. So there's things you can look at and take in a bright side. The defense didn't give up a touchdown. And I know it's Deshaun Watson. I get it. The Browns have scored some touchdowns throughout their weeks, though, in this season. 2 things stand out. Well, actually a third. Moro Ojomo. I mean, is he our best interior? Like, I'm joking, but like, he showed up. But 2 studs in the back end. And again, I know it's the opponent. It's Cooper DeJean's first start in the slot and whatever. Cooper DeJean. And by the way, was it Kenny Albert? If he called him DeJohn one more time, I was going to lose my fucking mind. Cooper DeJean, monster. Cooper DeJean has a sack before Bryce Huff, by the way. If anyone was wondering, Cooper DeJean 1 sack, Bryce Huff 0. Monster and Quinyon Mitchell, you just can't throw his way. I think they were 1 for 6, 1 for 7 throwing his way yesterday. Should have had his first career INT. That is coming very, very soon. But 2 absolute studs back there. We know Quinyon. We've seen it week 1 in Brazil. He'll get on you. He'll chirp you. Cooper's got a little bit of toughness to him as well, dude. He'll chirp a little bit as well. So
he's got some of that Reed Blankenship swag.
Very, very, very early, especially for Cooper DeJean, even more so than Quinyon Mitchell in their careers. But it looks like that dream draft that we were hoping with those 2 studs. Hopefully that's something we can put as cornerstones in this secondary.
I'm interested to see us. I'm not begging for it like immediately. Don't get me wrong. But maybe against the Bengals, maybe that's not the best example.
Right.
I don't want to see Cooper DeJean going against Jamar Chase. Let me take that back. I'm interested to see, like, against the Jaguars, for example. You go against Christian Kirk, see him against like some talent in the slot, and see how he fares and how he can make plays. But to your point, that's a great start, man. He gets his first start yesterday. He makes plays all over the field. Had the sack, had the touchdown saving tackle near the goal line as well. So he was making plays all over the field, and I think that's the big thing. You notice him in the positive way, and it's the complete opposite of Avonte Maddox. It would be one thing if Avonte was on the field and you don't notice him.
Yeah.
You notice him in a negative light,
Yes.
whereas
Yes.
you're just seeing Cooper DeJean pop up all over the field making plays. So yeah, I loved what I saw from him. I can't wait to see more. Q is just he's going to be here for a long time, man. He's going to be that lockdown CB1. You see Slay go out yesterday, and then you see the defense get a little bit more physical. Not begging for Slay to be out. Not begging for it. But
is it a coincidence that the tackling issues disappeared when Isaiah Rodgers and Darius Slay and Avonte Maddox were in the game?
CGJ, you watch your back with Sidney Brown back. He's always shown that he's a pretty good tackler, especially in the run game. So, guys, it's good. The youth is giving some competition here. They're even looking like better options at most of these points. And I think that is a good sign. Like, it is a good sign. It's not great that Maddox is washed. It's not great that Slay isn't maybe big play Slay anymore, but there is some other bright sides there. For some
and look, we're not saying this in the tone of I'm glad anyone, especially Darius Slay, is injured. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying things looked a little cleaner when he but again, you're playing Deshaun Watson and the Browns with a lead. Anybody could have looked great out there. So we'll see.
Mid-play Slay.
Think we could sell merch with that, Scotty?
Moro Ajomo. Maybe Moro Ajomo can be that other pass rushing, big guy in the middle with Jalen Carter, maybe rather than Jordan Davis. Maybe he can assume that role. He'll get an uptick based on his performance this week. So we'll see as the weeks go on. Who was the other guy that
Nolan Smith had a sack, almost a sack, whatever.
He was playing with some good energy. I liked, I saw him scream out there. That's good. Play with that energy. That's the most you can do. Give us all of it. Bryce Huff. I saw something interesting from Baldy this morning. Well, it got retweeted. It was from a while ago about Bryce Huff, and it was from Baldy, and it was talking about how on the Jets he was in a 4-point stance a lot of the time versus him being in a 2-point stance with us playing basically as a linebacker. Whereas he likes to be in the ground. He likes to have his hands in the ground, get that extra push and get that extra, quickness from there. And they basically talked about how Bryce Huff, he said after the game, they worked on that over the bye week, getting him in more positions to have his hands in the ground and maybe make more of an impact.
Whatever it takes. It takes to salvage.
I saw him a little bit more yesterday. That's why I bring it up. I did see him in on some plays. He didn't make anything himself.
On stopping the run, I saw him a couple times. With an assist, or I didn't look at the final box score. I don't know. Let me check.
This is like a sad thing. Like outside of like Jalen Carter, these Georgia boys are on fraud watch. I mean, Keely Ringo had a nice tackle yesterday.
Bryce Huff gets credit for half a sack yesterday, by the way.
Okay, I thought so. So that's good.
Two tackles, one solo,
action.
half a sack, and a QB hit.
Good sign.
All right.
But that's what I mean week to week. That's what I mean week to week. We have to see this, man, because I don't know that there was any performance that they could have put on the table yesterday that would have made me say, oh, the Eagles are back. You could have definitely given me something better than that for sure. So going forward,
look, man, I'm watching again. I'm watching, and that's the other thing. I hate to keep taking everything back to the head coach and his stupid ass comments, but you just knew he was going to bring up how hard it is to win in this league. I get that part, Nick. I'm sure. I know. All right, it is very hard to win in this league. But I'm watching a young team with a new coaching staff and a rookie quarterback in our own division that was supposed to place probably third, maybe fourth before the year. Now they look like the best team in our division. And I'm watching them smack the Cleveland Browns by 30. I'm watching them put up 42 on the Arizona Cardinals and beating the shit out. So I know it's hard, but I've also witnessed blowouts, Nick. I know you guys can beat the shit out. So when does that stop? When do you just put together a full performance? When?
I know. And once again, it's a confusing team. I'm just presenting devil's advocate. I'm not trying to give an excuse I just do wonder how much these teams get up to play the Eagles, get up to play Nick Sirianni. You got Jim Schwartz on the other sideline. You got Rodney McLeod scoring the touchdown on the field goal block. I do just wonder, like, compared to going into a game against the Commanders, you go into the game against the Eagles. I don't know. I'm not trying to create any more excuses.
No.
At the end of the day, like you said, you got to play a complete game. But it felt like the Browns were trying hard as fuck yesterday.
Well, yeah, man, they were 1-4.
And they should. It's an NFL team. Like they were trying hard as fuck. Deshaun Watson's like career is like hanging by like a thread.
Dude, that is the funniest thing ever. If you're a Browns fan, you are in so much. You are in hell. You're in absolute hell because like Stefanski continues to. They are not making that quarterback change that everyone wants. The problem is, how can you right now? How can you do? It's not like they have a rookie behind them. It's Jameis, so it's not like, well, your season's not salvageable.
Let's see
Maybe
what
we can get someone in for the future. Like the Panthers are dumb in that regard. Like, what are the Panthers? 1-5 now.
Yeah.
Why is Andy Dalton still playing quarterback? Your season's over. Just let's see if you can grow Bryce Young more. Right. So here it's Jameis Winston or Deshaun Watson. The issue is. It's the worst contract in NFL history.
Huge contract.
So you go and you bench him going into week 7. I mean, that's it. Like that, it's not salvageable later. It's not salvageable next year. It's gone, and you are eating the worst contract in league history. So they're just trying to ride it out, man, and it is a disaster. It is funny though too, because he is so bad. His drop off should be studied.
It is amazing.
But dude. His receivers hate him. They have to. Since when did Amari? I mean, I don't want to say since when. I know Amari has had some drop issues in his past. Amari Cooper can't catch a football, evidently. And I'm seeing, not just this week, I'm seeing clips like from other, like Njoku in the end zone just waiting for the ball and it hits his pinkies and falls. Like, dude, they have to, like, they've dropped more balls than anybody this year.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
Yeah, dude, the Browns. My God.
I saw the funniest tweet ever. Before we'll move on and talk a little bit of Sixers and Flyers before we get out of here. The Browns Twitter account tweeted in all caps, guards with a bunch of exclamation points because the Cleveland Guardians advanced to the ALCS. And someone quote tweeted and said, "Oh no, what did Deshaun do now?"
Oh man, you almost feel bad for him, and then you remember the things he's accused of and how much money he makes. So he'll be fine. Browns fans, that's another story. They got a miserable time ahead of them.
Yeah, they do have a baseball team in the ALCS though taking place tonight. So
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, they'd probably trade that. So
there you go. All right, man. Look, before we wrap up, I know it was late on the East Coast when Matvei Michkov made his Flyers debut. I know. What did we lose on Saturday? 6-3. Is that what it ended on Saturday against Calgary? But they get a shootout win after 1:00 in the morning. Based Saturday morning. It was Friday night, obviously, when the game started. And the takeaways, dude, and I know, like, I'm reading up on Flyers, guys, and I'm not the first person to say this, but I watched the Saturday night game. I didn't get to see much of. I was out. Friday night, I watched all of. And in the first 2.5 periods, obviously also because we had Matvei Michkov to record a point in our bet slip, so we were very active into watching him inside the blue line. But he didn't have a shot on goal. He didn't have anything in the first 2 periods. Dude, he finished the game with like 6 shots on goal, a couple close assists to Luchenko and to Frost. Brother, his mind, his IQ is so far ahead of everybody else on the ice. He's 3 steps ahead of everybody. Also, I don't know if you can recall the play or if you saw it or if you guys in the comments saw a clip of it when he brought the stick like behind his back or whatever he did and tried to just flick right over the shoulder pad and he just got a piece of it. It would have been goal of the year on night 1, game 1 of 82. He is disgusting, bro. Jet Luchenko's quick as fuck. They're fun. That's it, man. Look, they got their ass beat a Saturday night. They gave up a lot. Goaltending is going to be back and forth this year. He was great on Friday night. Did Ersson play?
They're going to be a fun team to bet too, man. I don't think Ersson played on Saturday.
I just want to check again. I did not see this.
I'm pretty sure
it was a back-to-back. So, he didn't play.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw that going into Saturday night's game. I didn't catch Saturday night's game, but
me neither. Fedotov, is that how you say it? Fedotov.
The thing about the Flyers, man, that'll make them fun this year. Obviously, low expectations. You don't have like the weight that comes with like the Phillies, the Sixers, the Eagles, right? But also on top of that, they're just going to be a fun team to bet. They're always going to come with a little bit of juice.
Yep.
There's going to be some matchups that will like them in that they may not be favored in, and you could make some money off the Flyers this year. So that's an exciting opportunity.
I know they lost by 3 again. Second half of the back-to-back up in Canada to start the year.
Right.
Backup goaltender, but they play hard. Man, they're like, you're right. They're fun. They're fast. Yeah. They're more talented than they've been in the past with some of these young kids, some of these goal scorers they have. But they play tough for Torts. And that's why they're never like almost out of the game. It feels like obviously when you lose by 3, you're out of a game. But Vancouver came into this year a top 10 team in the league, dude. Went on a second round run. Correct. Right? Twice. They were down 1-0 and then 2-1 and came back both times and finished it off in a shootout on the road to start. That made Vancouver went winless in their first 2 games because they lost to Calgary in their opener. That was a big win, and they continue to fight back, man.
Tobias Harris was not fun, man, regardless of expectations.
Well, that's the thing.
You couldn't lower them enough for Tobias. That's the problem.
Right. But Tobias didn't have low expectations because Tobias was gifted $180 million. So when that came, that became high expectations for Tobias to help his team out, and he constantly let us down.
Yo, the picture. I wanted to say something about that. Dylan set that up, man. That picture, dog.
You like that, dude? That's good shit.
He just looks so annoying, man.
He looks fucking crazy, dude.
He looks crazy.
It's literally the Nick Sirianni villain arc coming out of the bye week. No one was really paying the Eagles much mind with the Phillies at hand. And it's like he came out, he goes, I'm here. Nicky's here. That's what it felt like, dude. Fucking nuts.
Oh my God.
It is nuts, dude. But so the Flyers, dude, do we play? Is that I think we play tomorrow,
Tuesday.
Right?
Tuesday night, yeah.
Tomorrow. Oh, good. At Edmonton. Oh boy.
Then the Kraken on Thursday, and then we come back home finally for the Canucks.
And then we get Vancouver. I'll tell you what, that's a tough opening week for the Fly guys.
Yeah.
Hate to burst your bubble, brother. And maybe I'll find a little sprinkle with you, but if I was a betting man, which I am, I don't know if I'd be taking Flyers on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
since we're talking about playing
against the Oilers.
Yeah, since we're talking about probably the odds to win the Stanley Cup, they're what?
Desperate for a W. It's 0-3-0. Excuse me.
They are 0-3 to start the year.
Yeah.
That's very bad timing for us.
They're going to be hungry. That's all that means. They're going to be starving.
I will say, let's keep an eye on goal scorers and the total in this game because they are 0-3, and they have only scored 0, 2, and 1. And we know they're a high-powered offense from that Stanley Cup run last year. They've given up 6, 5, and 4 goals in their first 3 games. Goaltending issues in Edmonton? Probably. Oh, that's the Seattle Kraken, brother. We got the Seattle Kraken, and then we got the Utah Hockey Club, or the 2 newest teams to the NHL in the last couple of years. It's a hell of a way to go for marketing purposes.
What a name!
Yeah. I know there was a comment before Sixers, man. Before we get up on out of here,
Sixers are
we
coming.
got a Paul George. We got a Paul George debut that none of us really got to see. Even people with NBA League fans didn't really get to see it.
Like good, clips. You know what I mean? Like clear clips, HD clips. It was hard to find.
And then I saw your tweet, like how do you put a back-to-back in preseason, which they did. And we played the Celtics, and it was such a Sixers thing to do too, man. And like, of course we let the PG, like, the schedule. We let the PG debut be in Iowa with no television marketing. And then the next night is Boston playing their start. Like,
dog us out.
We couldn't have just like flipped that rotation, that schedule. But nonetheless, let's talk a little bit about it, man. Because
man.
Excitement is in the air. First and foremost, I'll let you talk about your boy Jared McCain dropping 20 against the Celtics. Even the game against the T-Wolves, I think he was 2 for 3 from deep. Just trying to clear a path to a role for this team, man. There's veteran guys up top, and they've shown flashes. Reggie Jackson, Eric Gordon were very good against that New Zealand team as well. And those are 2 guys and Kyle Lowry are all going to be ahead of him to start. But he continues to turn heads, evidently, in camp, and we see what he looks like in game action. He looks great. But Paul George's debut, is it not everything we want? Between Joel and Tyrese, is it not everything we want? Dude took 8 threes in the first half. Yeah. And I know that might sound absurd. And there might be a game where Paul George shoots 2 of 9 from 3, and we're going to be ripping our hair out. Dude, pass the ball. It's not your night. But you need him. What have we always needed? The guy ready and able and willing to fire. He's doing it off the dribble. He's doing it off the catch and shoot. He's got a quick release. We see him pull up from 35 feet with a defender in his mug and splash it. 23 points, active on the glass, active on the defensive end, willing to shoot and stretch and space the floor. It's perfect. I know it's preseason. I know. It's one play. It's one game for them. And Joel didn't even play. I know. But it's what
across
they
the team.
Need.
Yeah. It's across the team, man. We've talked about it for years about what we need around specifically Joel Embiid, but also around Tyrese Maxey, just to give him optimal space to maneuver, get in the lane, get fouled, and just play his game, right? Be on the attack. And Paul George can do that. The thing about Paul George, he can facilitate, he can handle the ball, he can get his own bucket, he can get a mid-range, he can get to the rack, and get to the foul line. He can do everything. That's why we brought him in. That's why we give him a max contract. Even at his age, he is still doing it at a high level.
Man, I saw in the warm-up lines. I saw a video of him with a little 360 two-handed slam, dude.
I mean,
about that.
You just look across the board, man. This was a preseason game, but I just love the makeup. You got 9 threes from Paul George, 7 from Maxey, 5 from Oubre. And I think you just keep that trend going, right? Maybe get a few more from Caleb Martin. You get guys off the bench, Eric Gordon, Reggie Jackson, Jared McCain. Like, what are they going to come off the bench and do? They're going to come out and space the floor. They're going to hit threes. They're going to take threes. And that's ultimately what I want from this entire team. I want them to feel comfortable letting it fly. And specifically Paul George, I love that he came out in the preseason and was able to kind of get his footing with this team, get to play next to Maxey, get to play next to some of the starters he'll actually start with.
Which, by the way, one note on him. Is the release even quicker now? Seen a lot of talk about it. I'm watching the action.
Maxey's going to be a demon, man.
Somehow quicker.
Yeah. I think people are sleeping on what Maxey can really do this year with PG out there.
I agree.
If Joel isn't coming out here to win MVP, man. He's not coming out here to do that.
The rest is going to be there, but that's the thing, man. Here's the beautiful part, man. You give Joel that load management assessment that you want to give him. You make up the schedule, kind of. You get him through it. Obviously, he's going to be a key piece of everything, right? And I want to see him out there as much as we can, but be smart with it, right? But there's no more scheduled losses. Does it feel? It feels like that now because now you have the guy in Paul George who can step up and be a star on any given night. Maxey looks like he can give you 30 on any given night with all the role players and the depth. It's like, oh, Joel's got a night off tonight on a back-to-back. Before that was what? A scheduled loss to Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that way anymore because he is a budding superstar.
I wanted to say this too, man. Like, there's been just a lot of negativity on Twitter, I feel like, about some of the players that have been in the rotation. Like, I've seen people talking about how Drummond isn't going to be what we thought he is, and
he just had 10 and 15.
Dude, he's a backup center, man. Like at the end of the day, what do we really want from him? We're not asking him to come out and win games. We're asking him on a night off for Joel to come out and keep us in games.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, man, I feel like there's a lot of like, not a lot. It's just a little bit of negativity that's generated towards,
Correct.
these different players.
And you don't have to be negative on other guys to prop up some guys, right? Because there's a lot of Jared McCain talk, and I'm all here for it. I want Jared McCain in this rotation, but it's like I'm seeing some tweets where in order to boost up McCain in the rotation, people are talking about Reggie Jackson and Eric Gordon. Well, first of all, it's not the regular season. Second of all, they haven't played a lot. Third of all, Joel. So like Reggie Jackson came out and was twisting up ankles the other night, right? Eric Gordon hit 2 threes from 40 feet in the first game. Like, so those guys can be valuable role players to this team. You don't have to tear down the veteran guys who might be able to help because what? Because we've seen the ugliness of a PJ Tucker. Eric Gordon doesn't have to be PJ Tucker. Reggie Jackson can help this team. So yes, I want to see Jared McCain on the floor. That doesn't mean that Reggie Jackson can't help this team. Doesn't mean Eric Gordon or Kyle Lowry doesn't help this team.
I'll be honest with you. I want to see him over those guys.
That's
at
fine.
The end of the day,
that's fine.
I think we're going to get to a point this season where we're going to ask ourselves, man, what if we just gave McCain all the minutes at the beginning of the season, and what could he be right now in his role with this team?
Can I tell you? Can I tell you out of the two that I want to see more?
Yeah,
I think Reggie Jackson can still hoop.
Yeah, Eric Gordon is just completely
Eric Gordon's the guy where it's going to be very feely, right? It's going to if he gets in, get him a look early. If he splashes 2 quick threes, might be a knife for him. But if Eric, he's not. What's he bringing outside of?
There's solid options, so I think that's the big thing that you're pointing at. Like either way, like at the end of the day, I don't think we're going to have a lot of complaints compared to what we have worked with in the past, right? And I think with McCain versus those guys, I look at like some of the intangibles, not just the shooting, because obviously he can shoot, but the ball handling when you need him to, right? He's not the greatest ball handler in the world, but when you need him to, he can organize things. He can get to the rack. Was going to the rack on Derek White. Like, so proud of my boy. So proud of my boy taking Derek White to the rack.
That takes balls, dude. That takes confidence.
Oh man, I love seeing it, but it's his intangibles. It's the physicality. He's willing to get on the floor. He's willing to dive for loose balls. He's willing to get on the boards, grab rebounds. Yeah. He does the little things as well. So I do like that about him. He gives me significant Kyle Lowry vibes in a sense, except he's a better shooter in my opinion. But I'm not in the camp of eliminating Reggie Jackson, eliminating Eric Gordon by any means. I think they all should get some looks here and there, see who's in rhythm, see who's playing well, and go from there. That's the flexibility that Nick Nurse is going to have this year.
And it's the flexibility Daryl Morey has put for Nick Nurse on this bench, dude. I'm going to come out and I'm going to say this. Now, I know we were super pumped. Me, you, Brock, Slim. We were getting on during free agency and talking about all these additions before the roster is even completed. Just Caleb Martin and Drummond and Paul George and how much better they can be. But we were so far away. And now that the Phillies are gone and the state of the Eagles is up in the air, I'm so fucking like Martian's been dying for Sixers talk. He's going to start to get it this week and especially next week, man. We're single digit days away. And I'm going to come out, and I'm not saying any breaking news here, but this is going to be the most fun we've had watching the Sixers since you and I have started podcasting together. This might be the most fun we've had watching this in our lifetime. Yeah. And I truly fucking mean that, dude. I have a unhealthy confidence in what this team can be this year.
Yeah.
You have the stars. Agree. You have the stars. You have the depth. You have the head coach. I cannot wait to watch this team on a night-to-night basis.
No, I completely agree, man. You come into this season, the other funny thing, that's what I was forgetting with the Drummond thing. Embiid, the injury concerns early on here. This is what we wanted. We want them to be taking precautions at a time in the season where it doesn't matter, man. It's going to be a hell of a season because this team has never been better built to survive without Joel Embiid. And I think that's going to be such a positive just to get W's during the regular season to stay afloat and, not have to throw Joel Embiid out there on a back-to-back against the Warriors, right, where he can get twisted up by Kuminga. You don't have to put yourself in situations like that. You don't have to do it with Paul George either. He doesn't have to play back-to-backs. You can do different things there. You put so much depth behind the wing position that if Paul George misses a game, well, Ricky Council can definitely fill in with a couple more minutes for a game. Like, that's not that big of a deal. So I love what they've done with the roster, man. You could go down the list and just talk about each of these guys individually, because I do think they all have a role. We haven't even talked about Yabusele, which he's shown me something too. He's not like this world. He's not breaking records or anything, but he looks solid.
Yeah. I mean, what did he go in? I know it's New Zealand, but what did he shoot against them? 6 for 6 in that game.
He's hitting threes. I mean, he just the willingness
against
to
Minnesota, hit a 3. Like he's we literally didn't mention him, bro. And he's going. Like that. If there was, I know there's a lot of depth and competition at the backup guard positions and everything. But that's a guy that's going to play for this team, and you're seeing that very early on. Like he is one of the first guys off the bench for Nick Nurse right now. At that forward position,
he's a perfect power forward-ish. He's got size. He's perfect for that.
Right.
I don't think you want him starting.
Fucking build, dude.
Yeah, that's the difference, right? Yeah. Between him and Drummond. Look,
man.
You know, man,
Scotty, I'm being 100% honest with you. I'm not scared. I know I'm going to take it too far. I'm not scared of anybody. I'm not. Listen, man, they were clearly the best team in the world last year, and they could very well be so again this year. But were we like scared of them in the regular season? No. In fact, you and I thought the Sixers were a little deeper than them. Now, we turned out to be wrong because evidently Sam Hauser and Peyton Pritchard and Luke Cornett are actually role players in the NBA. Who would have fucking thought that? But I'm being serious. The mix of stardom with the depth. I don't know if is there a team deeper than the 76ers? Is there? Legitimately. Is there a team that has all that star power in their starting lineup and then has Kyle Lowry, Reggie Jackson, Andre Drummond, Yabusele, Eric Gordon, Ricky Council? Is there Jared McCain? Is there a team that has all of that behind 3 legitimate stars plus Caleb Martin plus Kelly Oubre Jr.?
On paper to start the season, no, I don't think
That's
so.
all I'm saying.
I think the other side of that is previous seasons where we've thought, we were deep and we have, different guys coming off the bench, and then all of a sudden they're washed. Like, maybe Eric Gordon is just completely washed, and maybe he isn't a rotational player, right? We do have to wait and see. But to your point, I think when you look at it on paper, there's only a few teams that even come close. It's the New York Knicks. It's the maybe the Celtics. When you look at it from depth, maybe not the Celtics so much, but at the same time, it's like, what are they going to do with a guy like Jaden Springer? Is he going to pop up out of nowhere? Are they, which one of these guys at the bottom of their bench is just going to start cashing threes? I think with the Celtics, man, the way I look at them, I do believe that we can beat them. It's not that. I just think they got the monkey off their back. That championship, getting to the same spot and always getting denied. They got that off their back. There's none of that pressure really anymore. So they're going to be able to play freely. They're going to be able to play basketball the way they want to. But it doesn't mean they're unbeatable. That's what it comes down to.
We're going to test their hunger this year, though. We're going to test, because now we have that monkey on our back still of not getting to here, not reaching this point, Joel, etc. And also, them boys got the ring, and they got paid.
Yeah.
We're going to test their hunger. And maybe they come out and win 66 games, 65 games, and they're the best team in the league again, and they run rampant in the postseason. Maybe there's a little bit less hunger when they get there. I don't know. We'll see, man. But like, I'm looking at the Bucks, who we open up against. They're starting 5. We know it can be lethal. Dame, they picked up Gary Trent Jr., Chris Middleton, Giannis, and Brook Lopez. They still have a Bobby Portis. But let's go beyond Bobby Portis. Taurean Prince, DeLon Wright, AJ Green, Pat Connaughton. That's it. There's one guy on that bench I would take over what we have. It's Bobby Portis. That's it. So that's a team coming back from injury. Let's check it out, Martian. I see your comment. Let's go to Boston's depth. We know Holiday, White, Brown, Tatum, Horford starting the lineup. Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, Luke Cornett, Al Horford, all the same, and they added Lonnie Walker. So they're the same team. Oh, and Kristaps is deep down there. He's out right now. They're the same exact team and added Lonnie Walker, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. You're a 60-plus win team and added a guy like Lonnie Walker. It's a great thing. I'm just saying it's not like there's all these new fun toys that we don't know about with the Celtics. So, yeah, man. And then you get to the Knicks. We'll see. We'll have to see. I don't know what Mikal Bridges did for that shot.
I worry about like that, like it's like that Chiefs thing, right? Like where you finally win the ring, you get the monkey off the back, and do you just kind of settle in?
That's what I'm saying.
You got Peyton Pritchard, he's got a ring. He's off the bench, right? He's not this world beater, but he does hit shots.
Yep.
Sam Hauser last year was just money from the 3-point line. Yep. So that's what I mean. They find guys to contribute that you're just not expecting, if that makes sense.
Correct.
So I'm interested to see, what they do with some of these guys. But I do agree with you. At the end of the day, what we can look forward to is that the Sixers, they should be not looked at as like underdogs to anyone. They can compete with anyone when they're healthy. When Joel's in the lineup, they're going to be at the top of that Eastern Conference. So I'm excited about it. TJ McConnell or Peyton Pritchard? Probably go with TJ, but Pritchard does have signs of similar capabilities. Yeah. He's one of those players. But I would take TJ.
They're just different players, right? I mean, yeah. I get it. The small white boy, I get it.
They're both scrappy, though.
Peyton Pritchard, yeah. Peyton Pritchard shoots from 40 feet. TJ McConnell shoots from the elbow and gets in. So they're different styles. One has a ring. One got to the Eastern Conference Finals with his team. We'll see, man. That's another team, right? Like the Pacers got to the ECF last year.
They're sneaky.
They're sneaky. Are they a top 4 team in the league? No, they're not. They're not a top 4 team in the East. So
maybe in the East. I don't know.
Maybe.
Like I don't know. I might take the Pacers style of play over the Bucks this year, for example. Like if that's who you have.
All right, but then are they 4 max for you though? If you're talking Sixers, Bucks, Celtics, Heat, or
it's Sixers,
Knicks.
Celtics, and Knicks. Top 3. They're like by themselves for me right now in the Eastern Conference. I don't have the Bucks up there with them.
So we need a tough white boy. Jared McCain doesn't count. No, we don't need the white boy.
You'll see. Hey, Martian gonna find out about Jared McCain. He's not scared of anyone, man.
We got the French.
That's the thing.
Overseas man.
That's the thing that people don't realize about Jared McCain is like playing at Duke. You're not gonna get like on a bigger basketball stage than Duke basketball. Like you're not gonna face more pressure than what you face from the Cameron Crazies down in Durham. So I get it. Philly is a crazy sports town. He's gonna receive a lot of different energy. But I'm more than sure that he can. I think
he's going to be welcome with loud cheers once the season kicks off.
Yeah.
Man. Also, I don't know if you guys are down. I know Scotty will be down. Maybe people in the comments, like Martian, get down to a game. Oh wait, where does Martian live again? Doesn't he? Do you live in Canada? What? Do you live in Canada? I think
or is he just from Canada?
I don't remember. But I do know that Sixers tickets are very, very cheap to open the year. Like, for instance, Wednesday, October 30th against the Pistons, if anyone wants to go see Tobias Harris's return, I'm dead serious. You can get tickets for $9 up top.
That's crazy.
Well, $12 now, excuse me. $12 for upper level. You can get first level for under $50 for that game.
Oh, yeah.
So that might have to be a move. Let me just check on Ticketmaster the opener against the Bucks. I know those are going to be way more pricey than that. I just want to see.
We got the
you can get NBA up top.
Cup. The NBA Cup against the Knicks on November 12th, man.
Not terrible, bro. You can get opening night game against the Bucks lower level for $120.
Yeah.
110 here.
Not bad. I feel like maybe it's like the Sixers tickets they'll probably pick up price wise maybe in the second half of the season.
Yeah.
some of the more marquee matchups, of course, when the Lakers come to town, stuff like that. They're going to cost more when you got superstars coming in, but you got the Eagles season right now that takes kind of priority, even though with the Sixers it's exciting. Those Eagles games are the focus stuff. But
I've never used TickPick.
I will. We're definitely going to get out to a game, especially early on. Probably get out.
Sir. I want to try to get to a few this year. I lacked last year.
Flyers too, man. I'm going to try to get out to the Flyers as well.
Use promo code Crumble. Oh my god. Oh my god. All right, we got to get out of here now.
Oh, happy Monday. Victory Monday.
Anyway, I see over 60 people in here right now. Don't get it twisted. We appreciate each and every one of you. But if you see the comments blowing up with Martian and TR and Darius, come and join them. So we cannot see most of your comments coming in from Twitter, whatever it is with StreamYard. They censor or block. I don't know how many of them. So do yourself a favor, do us a favor. Head on over to the YouTube channel. The link is in our bio, in our link tree. Hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to our first 200 subs on the newer channel. It's not so new anymore, but a little over a year in from our old one. But help us out, help yourself out, and get in the comment section with us on each and every one of our live streams. We will be back Wednesday morning talking more Eagles, talking more Sixers, and talking more Fly Guys with you guys, Scotty. Peace out, everybody. See you Wednesday.
Peace. Go Birds.